Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's the Top Delinquent, chapter 54, and this one is titled, May the Best Student Win. You burst out laughing at his comment and doubled over him as the music stopped. You're too much, Tenya. You laughed, kissing his nose, then sitting back. Before you could say anything else, the sound of hot water hitting an even hotter stovetop snapped your attention towards it, and you jumped off his lap to see what was happening in the kitchen. Crap, you gasped, grabbing the dial to turn the temperature down as your pot of potatoes boiled over. Yin, Iida called. Yeah, no, we're good, don't worry, you called back, frantically blowing the bubbles that were cascading down the side of the pot. May I please use your bathroom? He asked with a blush as he walked into the kitchen. Yeah, go, it's down the hall, you replied, not looking up at him as you worked to calm your angry pot of potatoes down. He nodded and walked away, the extremely large tent in his pants going unnoticed by you as he disappeared off down the hall. He was gone for a little while, but by the time he came back you had it all under control and were making a few extra things to add to dinner. Do you require assistance? Iida asked bashfully as he re-entered the kitchen. Nah, you said flippantly, waving your hand. Got it in the bag. He walked over behind you and wrapped an arm around your waist before bending his head to the nape of your neck and kissing you suddenly. What was that for? You stammered in a flustered voice, trying to look back at him over your shoulder as his unsuspecting kiss caught you well off guard. I do find you very attractive, and I wanted to let you know in a way that you would understand, he stated, almost proud at his reasoning behind giving you a neck kiss. Well, it worked, you replied, suddenly feeling bashful in front of this man who just kissed you in such a vulnerable spot without even feeling flustered about it. Iida gave you a tight-lipped smile and adjusted his glasses, then gestured to the food that you were making as he let go of your waist. This looks exquisite, he said. It looks like crap, but it'll pass, you said with a chuckle. Your language, please, Iida chided gently. But it's true. I don't know how else to say it, you replied, checking on the potatoes again. A few minutes later you were ready to go, so you dished everything up and then grabbed some cutlery from the drawer and did your happy food dance as you carried everything over to the new lounge. Towel, you said suddenly. We need a towel. No one sits on this lounge with food until it's covered. Iida quickly took off down the hall and grabbed a towel from the cupboard and then raced back and lay it smoothly, making sure to cover the lounge completely. There, he said proudly. Towel has been applied correctly. Thank you, Tenya. You understand, you said gratefully, sitting carefully down and handing Iida his plate of food and set of cutlery. Unable to hold the items in both hands, he decided to sit the plate on his lap and use his free hand to feed himself, looking awkward as hell. Here, let me feed you, you offered, reaching for his fork and taking it from his hand. Want some macaroni in a pot? You leered. I cannot eat this dish again without thinking of the lyrics to that song, Iida shuddered, a light pink dusting his cheeks. It's yum, Mrs. Craig made it. I'd make some obscene comment about her and relating it to WAP, but I won't, you teased. I do not even want to imagine what kind of crude comment you would make, Iida replied, gingerly opening his mouth for the food that you were presenting to him. How's your arm going, by the way? Are the physio and doctor happy with how it's improving? You asked, changing subjects. Yes, Iida said, then opened his mouth for you to put some food in. When does the cast come off? Iida quickly swallowed his food before replying. The physio said it would be another few weeks before I could take any cast off completely, but they now have 3D printed casts that are better for healing, so I'll be getting a printed cast on in 2 weeks' time. That's so cool, you replied with a mouthful. What colour are you getting? Fluorescent orange, he replied, so that I can use it to direct students at school. You snorted with amusement, mouth still full of food. Why doesn't that surprise me? You mused through a half mouthful. The first few days of that week were spent with you hanging out with Iida and studying for the upcoming test at the end of the week. Iida insisted on listening to classical music while studying, so occasionally you would slip some kind of your favourite genre song into the mix, or your favourite band song, or anything that had sexually explicit lyrics, just to mess with him. It was always a delight to see his face blush with embarrassment. You ready for the test today? You asked Iida as you walked to school together on Friday. I am confident that I will be number 1 in the class, he replied, pushing his glasses up higher on his nose and setting his face firmly. Yeah, right, buddy, you just keep telling yourself that, you replied teasingly. I am aware that certain bets are placed on these types of things, so if I get top marks, Iida said, would you consider accompanying me to the night festival a few weeks away? That is the most polite bet I've ever heard anyone use, you replied with a laugh. Usually, you just demand what you want. Like my wager, if I get top marks, then you have to come shopping with me to Walmart. Well, in here it's called Seiyu. It's basically Walmart, but Japan. Iida shuddered. The shop with chair legs missing, he whispered with horror. You have PTSD over chair leg now, you chuckled. Yeah, come and see how the rest of us live. Yin, as terrifying as your proposal is, I will shake on it. May the best student win, he said astutely, turning and reaching his good hand to yours. Thanks. I plan on winning. Again, like I always do, because no one can beat me, but whatever, you replied with airy cheekiness. Iida gave you an amused look. Your confidence amuses me, Yin, he replied, shaking his head a little as you continued the last way to school. The test was up first thing in the morning, and you gave Iida a confident smirk as he handed the paper back to you for you to take one. I'm going to smoke you, you whispered to him. I look forward to the challenge, he replied. It's giving very cute, nerdy couple vibes. I'm living for it. Stay tuned for chapter 55 coming tomorrow.